TIFU got a warning ticket for indecent exposure. TIFU, today was 110 Fahrenheit with humidex and I've been putting off mowing the lawn for a long time. I'm a guy and typically wear jeans and t-shirt, but the weather was just so hot that push mowing an acre in jeans was just impossible. I decided to wear some bike shorts since they breathe better and are not as hot with a black tank top, as I've got some body dysmorphia with my chest and don't want people to see me shirtless. I put on some headphone and starts mowing the lawn. As I am halfway done the front yard, a female cop stops in front of the house. Turns out a neighbor called and said it was indecent exposure. I got the pervert treatment with the cop saying I was excited even though I am gay and was definitively not excited. I got a warning and was told to put some shorts or pants over my underwear even though they are definitively bike shorts, compression type. I've been crying all night. It was so humiliating. TLDR, got a ticket warning for wearing bike shorts in public. The correct answer here is to call the police station and ask to speak to the commanding officer and file a complaint regarding the cop's behavior. She's the one you can actively do something about right now. If you can ride a bike wearing bike shorts, you can mow your lawn in them. Full stop. This cop acted inappropriately. You probably can't do much about your stupid neighbor, but you don't have to let her win either. She's going to do something awful again, expect it and respond appropriately. Make sure to ride your bike with appropriate bike shorts when traveling to file your complaint. I second this. At the desk, ask every cop if this sportswear outfit is okay to wear in public. Specify that it's 110 degrees out there and you're in your biking sportswear, as you know because you biked here and you're a cyclist, and you bike normally and wear this normally. Fuck that female cop and that female neighbor. I'm a woman too and I hate that they made you feel this way. I will go full Karen and full mom mode to protect you. So you were on your own property, wearing clothes and got told you were indecent? I'd have fought it so hard. Like who cares how tight/clingy something is as long as it's covered. People wear worse in actual public places. People are nuts. Our backyard is pretty much impossible to see from anywhere nearby. There are a lot of trees between us and the next door neighbors and it's on like 4 acres. The only spot with a remote line of sight is the neighbors behind us who are far away through more trees, technically in a different neighborhood. The woman over there showed up at our door to complain about my wife being by the pool topless because her 13-year-old climbed out his upstairs window onto part of the roof and used binoculars to get a show. And my wife was apparently the problem. TIFU by using Stripe as a payment processor for my small business. I used Stripe for about a year to run a small cell phone store in Denver, Colorado area. In the case of my business, I never had an issue processing my small payments for cell phones, ranging from a couple $100 up to $1,000. All of a sudden, we run a charge for $3,300 because our primary processor in my business was down, and we had a large transaction to fulfill. Stripe flagged the transaction and is now holding the money from me for at least 120 days. It is one thing to say this is a red flag, fine. I hear you. No problem. A transaction multiple times the size. Sure. I get it. However, a normal payment processor would then query you for documents authorizing the charge, bank statements, financial statements, some sort of procedure to remedy the issue. Stripe provides no such method to resolve these issues. I am concerned because there are reports of Stripe continuing to add 30 days to the reserve hold past the initial 120 days, indefinitely. One article detailed a hold that was surpassing its 240th day. Stripe is taking advantage of a lack of regulation in this space to steal small merchants' large transactions. They see a big, outlier transaction and lick their chops, hiding behind KYC and fraud prevention to hold your money indefinitely. You cannot call Stripe. They do not have a phone number. Their support page on their website has phone call and messaging grayed out. You can only email. If you email, you get robots. Even in the same email thread, a different agent, with a different name and everything, answers each time with not prior knowledge of your history. There are no ticket numbers to your support request, nothing tracking it. The robots respond with what is quite obviously a template response. If you do a little bit of research about this topic, you immediately see this as a prevailing issue. Reports of Stripe taking up to $31,000 are all over the internet. Again, Stripe gives no manner to remedy this. There is no one you can call. No one you can talk to. More disconcerting, it seems that anyone who posts about this issue on Reddit gets downvoted and teamed up against by established Reddit accounts, but I have to imagine are owned by Stripe. These accounts have some established Reddit history on them, mainly talking about coding in Perl. It's a little sus. In my case, I sent my own letter, sales tax receipt, articles of org, statement of trade name, certificate of good standing, bank statements, website links, signed transaction receipts, and anything I could think of to Stripe to review. I just received robot responses, never got anything cleared up. I challenge Reddit to connect me to a human being at Stripe that can tell me how to resolve the issue. I'm convinced it can't be done. This is a big problem and should be brought to the attention of small business owners and regulators. TLDR. I use Stripe to process my business transactions. They saw a large transaction come through and used their twisted toes to steal $3,000 from my small business. They use gray area contract loopholes to be able to hold your money from you indefinitely. While you lose out on your working capital and ROI, they collect free interest on your money, potentially never returning it. Post on all their social media outlets, "Thanks for the warning and I hope they release your money soon." Man, I got upset at my bank when they held a $26,000 for 10 business days cause I needed it to clear so I could pay some vendors. 120 days is criminal. I was able to get the bank to clear the daily maximum amount, $5,300, while they waited for the check to clear. I now just invoice for less than $10,000 so I can use mobile deposit. TIFU by having seizure when asking for my job back. I, 26M, have cystic fibrosis and had to get a double lung transplant last year. Because of the long recovery and COVID, I haven't been able to work in a long time. I used to work at a grocery store and decided to ask for my job back part-time. Working there was my only hope because it is flexible and in walking distance. I can't drive anymore because of seizures. I've only had a few though and take meds to control them. I walked over to the store looking my best and ready to talk to my old manager. Everything felt so surreal and bright. I figured that I was just getting nervous and emotional about being there after so long. Right away near the front of the store I saw an old coworker and she recognized me. She asked me how I've been and I tried to answer but my brain started shutting down. For some reason I touched her chest, "WTF is wrong with me," then grabbed her arm and fell backwards. I hit my head on the concrete floor and started seizing really badly. Everyone in the whole store surrounded me, many that I knew, and they called 112. My head was bleeding, I was puking and choking on it and worst of all, lost control of my bladder. I was wearing these tan khaki pants so it was very noticeable. The piss got all the way down into my shoes. When I finally came to, the paramedics were cutting off my shirt in the middle of this store. My chest is extremely fucked up with scars and I have a J-tube. Everyone looked at me like an alien. I was so embarrassed and trying hard not to break down. They were trying to ask me questions but I pretty much played dead until I got in the ambulance. There went my one potential job. I'll never go back there again. I'm alright now, just feeling defeated and mortified. The only thing helping me has been reading other posts like mine knowing I'm not the only one. That's why I decided to share this. TLDR, had a seizure and pissed myself in front of my old coworkers when I went to ask for my job back and now I'm going to be unemployed forever. Oh friend, you didn't fuck up. You had a medical emergency. Your colleagues surrounded you out of concern. Look, I know it's mortifying but you have nothing to reproach yourself for. Be kind to yourself. Definitely opposite of a fuck up. Survived a pandemic and a fucking double lung transplant with cystic fibrosis. TIFU by accidentally locking myself out of a room, causing a war and genocide. Obligatory, this happened 10 years ago. Just remembered this based off of something I saw on r/confessions, figured it was a story worth telling. When I was 16, I had no standards when it came to living in messes. I was the only one remaining in my home full time, as my mom had moved in with my stepdad. Strange, I know, but was awesome to have the place to myself at that age. In my basement was a computer room with a desk that would block the door a bit from the inside if fully closed. In a moment of inspiration, I decided to clean the main room of the basement, moving all of the trash and recycling into the computer room in garbage bags. I didn't rinse any of the numerous pop cans which would soon be massive colonies/mass graves. I can't remember what led to it, but I closed the computer room door from the outside, locking myself out with no way in due to the desk. Me, being an ignorant 16-year-old, decided whatever and just went about my life, playing Xbox and smoking weed. The door was closed for at least a month, until I decided I wanted to play Age of Empires. I tried to push the door open, but could only move it a small amount, just enough to see the horrors inside. Massive swarms of fruit flies had engulfed the small room, an infestation worthy of firebombing. Unable to get into the room, I began to panic, fearing the wrath of my mother if she were to find out. I needed a plan, and I needed one quick. It took some time for me to find a way in, but luckily my stoner self had left the small window in the computer room unlocked so that I could blow my smoke out of it. With a pair of glasses, a bandana covering my face, and a hoodie to shield what was left uncovered, I climbed through the window, a can of Axe body spray and a lighter in my hand. Flies were burnt out of the sky, flames engulfing tens to hundreds of them at a time, the survivors attempting to escape the fiery death that seared the air around them. Thousands perished in mere minutes, falling to the ground wingless. From the many cans, more flew out, only to join their brothers and sisters on the ground. Into each can I believed to be their homes, fire was sprayed directly into the openings, scorching those who remained, and those yet to live. As the flames ceased, the door was unblocked, and the cleanup of the genocide began. The once empty cans felt as heavy as they were before opened, hundreds if not thousands of carcasses filling each one. With the war over and the room cleared, the desk was moved, never to block the door again. My mother never found out about this, only my friends, who knew this event as the War of the Fruit Flies. TLDR, got locked out of a room full of empty cans, had to burn thousands of fruit flies out of the sky with a can of Axe body spray. You are disgusting and this was funny AF, thank you. Hey. I love you. Thanks for watching. I hoped you enjoyed this Reddit audio story. It would mean a lot to me if you could like and subscribe, or better yet, leave a comment about one of the stories. Thanks and I hope you have a wonderfully fantastic day. XOXO.